Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something we all take for granted, paved roads. And we're starting with probably the most famous one ever built, Rome's Appian Way, the Via Appia.
They called it the Regina Viarum, the Queen of Roads.
The Queen of Roads, I like that.
Mm.
So our mission today is to unpack the technical evolution behind these roads, what problems they solved, and, the huge impact they had on society.
Right, and it's important to set the stage. The Romans absolutely mastered road building, but they didn't invent it. Not by a long shot.
Oh, really?
We see paved streets in Mesopotamia using bitumen way back around 4000 BCE, and the Egyptians built some seriously advanced roads around 2600 BCE for one simple reason.
To move the pyramid stone.
To move those massive stones, exactly.
So, okay, roads existed. But when the Romans started the Appian Way in 3 and 12 BCE, it feels like they took it to a whole other level. I mean, this layered construction, sometimes going down 1.5 meters deep, was that truly necessary?
It was an engineering imperative. For long-term stability, for geopolitical control, you have to remember they were moving entire legions, heavy supply carts in all kinds of weather.
So this wasn't just a path, it was a permanent structure.
Precisely. The layers of crushed rock, gravel, that early form of concrete, and then those iconic polygonal stones on top, it was all about load-bearing and drainage. It was built to last, not wash away after the first winter.
And that all-weather, heavy-duty design solves the #1 problem for any expanding empire.
Logistics. Military logistics.
So what was the actual payoff? Can we measure
Oh,
it?
we can, and it's staggering. During the Samnite Wars, the Appian Way cut the travel time for a legion marching from Rome to Capua from 7 days down to just 3.
Wow, more than half.
And that speed meant a 40% reduction in logistical loss for their supply trains, a 40% improvement. It's why they were obsessed with making the roads so straight, the shortest distance, the fastest time.
That is a total game changer, built on stone and concrete.
No.
But if the Roman genius was in layering rock, did other big empires find a completely different solution to get that same kind of durability?
Absolutely. If you look east to China at the Qinzi, built just a century later, they did something fascinating. They perfected what's called the cooked earth method.
Cooked earth.
Yeah, see? Instead of stone layers, they literally roasted the soil at very high temperatures. This sterilized it so nothing would grow through the road, but it also changed the soil structure. It made it incredibly hard and resistant to moisture, a totally different soil-based approach.
Incredible. So
Yeah.
while Rome is all about military speed and China is connecting the capital to the northern borders for defense, Persia's royal roads had a different focus again, right?
Yes, for them it was about governance and really information. They created this incredibly efficient postal and relay system. It shows that infrastructure isn't just about moving armies, it's about binding an empire together with information.
Which brings us to the scale of all this. Once you have that speed and communication, what does it let you control?
Well, the scale's just mind-blowing. The entire Roman network is now estimated at about 299,000 kilometers. It covered 4 million square kilometers.
I can't even picture that.
In the core regions of the empire, the road density was comparable to modern rural roads today. That scale meant they were more than just roads. They were a kind of cultural circulatory system.
An instrument of unification.
Exactly. They promoted Romanitas, Roman culture. They spread the Latin language, Roman law. And later, this network was crucial for the early spread of Christianity. Missionaries could travel quickly and safely.
And that's not just a Roman phenomenon.
Not at all. The Silk Road was basically a massive cultural canal. It's how Buddhism spread east, how art and ideas like Persian fine art moved across entire continents. And economically, they were catalysts. The Appian Way turned towns like Capua into booming trade hubs because suddenly you could reliably transport wine, oil, ceramics.
So if we tie this all together,
Look, ancient roads were civilization-defining tools. They turned speed and logistics into geopolitical power, a 40% reduction in supply loss. That's like the ancient world's version of a massive bandwidth upgrade.
that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
So if these ancient roads were the critical catalyst for shifting power by mastering physical speed and logistics, here's a thought for you to take away. What modern infrastructure systems, physical or maybe even purely digital, defined by things like latency and bandwidth, are fundamentally shaping our global society right now?